What's good? It's your boy Wayoe and welcome back to the channel. Thank you for everyone who has subscribed and been a part of the fam. One of the main questions I always get is, can I get into the tech industry without a technical background? And the answer to that question is a resounding yes, you can. Let's get into it. Okay, so you're interested in a role in big tech. Now, big tech is so expansive. There's so many different roles, so many different areas you could go into. And look, I think it's best to give an overview of tech to begin with. So I'm actually going to speak mostly primarily about people who are interested in the FANG companies. If you don't know what the acronym FANG means, that's Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Google. They're the biggest tech companies in the world. Now, they've been leading the charge probably in the last 25 years since the internet age. You can add Microsoft in there, of course, because they were massive players and still are. And tech is going through a paradigm shift at the moment. The tech industry is a place that's fast paced, it's fast moving, it innovates all the time, and there are so many changes. And because of that, that requires candidates who actually can wear many different hats and are okay and comfortable with those moving pieces. If you're somebody that you feel like you can deal with many of those things, then tech is definitely the place for you. The other thing to think about is, now, the tech industry has gone through changes in the last 2 years, for example, 2 to 3 years, particularly because of the latest paradigm shift in tech, or the new era in tech, which is AI, which you've heard most leaders say a bunch of times. But AI is the new frontier, and it's going to power and make things more efficient for us in many different facets of our life. I'm sure many of you, like myself, may use it to help whether it's to help type up an email or help create an image. There's so many facets that are there with AI. The thing about AI though, and that paradigm shift has meant that, of course, more data needs to be stored, more processing power is needed to provide these AI features and elements, which means tech companies are also harboring a lot more cost than before. They need more data center space to process all of this information. And with that, the businesses then need to become more results focused and business focused to be able to double down on those AI ventures. That's the way the whole tech industry has been moving. Now, if you're now thinking about being in tech, which I think is actually such a cool time to be in tech, because it will allow you to be part of a very new shift and very new era and learn about how these businesses operate from internally and from the inside. And as somebody who's very interested in big tech, like, that's something I really love. So first and foremost, if you're interested in big tech, relevant experience is the first key step. And now let's start with existing skills. So when you look at your resume now, can you tell me basically what impact you drove on your last internship? Or if you were the lead for your society, let's say you were the head of the finance society, could you tell me in numbers how many people you managed to sign up to the society within the last year if you're at university? And if you can't, that's completely fine, but tech loves numbers. They love data. So if you're thinking about getting into the tech industry, one, you want to make sure that you have transferable skills. So you want to be able to go to the job page for any jobs you're interested in, and you want to be able to make sure you're picking up skills that can align to that role or that kind of space you want to get into. So that's the first thing. So alignment in existing skill sets. Are you a problem solver? So do you like solving problems? Can you find ways in your resume to touch on experiences where you've solved a problem? It doesn't have to be in an internship. It can be in, let's say you're in a seminar and you got into a group, or you're tackling a problem, or maybe you're coding, or maybe you code for fun. Like, where can you prove that you've solved a problem? Tech is about problem solvers. In fact, I feel like tech is predicated on a bunch of people who want to make things more efficient and more convenient. I feel like that's more or less what technology is there to do, and it's to solve problems. So if you can show that you're a problem solver, that is like golden. But of course, there are many other skills that may be role specific that you want to get into. Now, Are you a project manager? Can you organize tasks and meet deadlines? This is a super important one. As I mentioned, tech is fast moving and you need to be able to move with that pace, whilst obviously executing on your core responsibilities. But the other thing about big tech is there's also so many other opportunities out there within big tech, like whether you're working at any of the top companies, there's so many other things you could tap into, and I'm very lucky that I've been able to tap into some of those, especially on the DEI front and also on the strategy and operations part. I've been able to do those two things in the last 3.5 years. I've been at Google, all whilst my core role was in tech sales at the time. So that's been super cool. And they usually like people who can wear different hats and tap into different things. That's also a main thing. Now, relevant experience. So what can you do today to make sure you're set up for success for that next role or that next company you want to apply to? The first thing to say is don't simply just chase companies. Also think about the role. Think about the role you want to get into. And I know job titles are just job titles. So one main thing I really encourage everybody to do is to rely on insight days or business weeks, whatever it might be. For anybody that's watching this video now, especially if you're in university, there's actually a Google internship program. The applications are actually out now, so I'll leave a link down below, or you can go to my LinkedIn profile, which is in the description box, to actually go to the link where you can apply for a Google Summer internship for 2025. And the deadline for those applications are October 25th. So if you're thinking about joining me at Google, you can drop me a message on LinkedIn or leave a comment below. And if you've got any questions, do let me know. But make sure to follow these companies on LinkedIn and go to any insight days or business weeks. Learn more about the company and where they're currently at. And you can ask people at those events maybe what you should be looking at or what skills they might require from you. Honestly, that's the number one tip for getting into big tech, is going to these insight days or insight weeks. There's no other way you can really understand the place the business is in. Online courses. A lot of places like Coursera or Udemy do run courses on things like, for example, with Google, you can go to their digital garage and you can learn things like marketing, IT, project management, UX design, and you can take these courses. These are great ways to show you're keen on learning new skills. Obviously, learning those new skills requires time. So, but those would honestly show so much value. And that's something I actually did when I was joining Google 3.5 years ago. I made sure to take one of those courses as well on Coursera. So that's something that can be super helpful. So insight days, any courses you can do that give you more of an inside knowledge of the business and also give you the skills for that specific interest. The other thing, network. And to be fair, I completely get it. Networking can seem very superficial. It can seem even very stressful, and it can even induce social anxiety. It can feel like a lot. But I don't think it hurts sometimes just to politely message someone on LinkedIn if they have a role that sounds cool, and you might not get a reply, and that's fair enough, and that's okay, because some people might not want to be getting a message. But networking is honestly the way you get to understand whether something is for you or not, and so that you're not diving into the deep end of something that you're not sure maybe about the company's culture, or the role itself maybe isn't what you thought it was, for example. So definitely connect with people, connect on LinkedIn, connect with me on LinkedIn if you'd like to. The other thing is preparation. So once you've organized your resume, you've got your data points, you've got your transferable skills, you've gone to the job description and made sure to marry the skills that they're looking for, and you've paired that with your existing experience and the skills you picked up there. Once you've done that and it comes to prepping for interviews, I'm going to give you an amazing tip from actually Google have an interview warm-up tool where you can basically enter in questions and prompts, and basically the AI tool will help you prep for those interviews by basically giving you solutions and ways to tackle these questions. So definitely it helps for any kind of role or industry you're looking for. So definitely use the interview warm-up tool if you're prepping for any interviews that you may come across. Honestly, I think it's an incredible tool, and I actually only found out about it recently. But yeah, I hope the video was somewhat informative about like how to think about your experiences and the tech industry a bit as a whole as well. And if you are the kind of person that likes to wear different hats, you're interested in the many different facets of the tech business, I think you should definitely give it a go. Feel free to drop me a message, drop a comment below. And yeah, if you want me to do a specific video, maybe more about my time at Google so far, and actually now I'm transitioning into YouTube, definitely let me know in the comments below. But really appreciate you guys. Drop a like if you liked it, drop a sub if you loved it, and be a part of the fam. And yeah, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Catch you in a bit.